I'm going to Kansas City. If I come, I come, I come, I come. I'm going to Kansas City.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. My name is Emmanuel Cleaver III.
And I'm Emil Cleaver.
Check us out every Tuesday. We drop a new episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers, and you can check us out most places you get your podcast. So I wanted to talk about this week. Liz Cheney, representative in Wyoming, lost her primary election to a Trump candidate. And the reason she lost and the reason why someone ran against her, Republican, in the primary was because she did not believe that Donald Trump won the election.
Well, he didn't win the election.
Yes, we know that. I know that. You know that. She knows that. Donald Trump knows that, but he won't accept it. And the people that worship him believe that he won. But that's why he was so much against her. And then, you know, the whole January 6th commission. So, it seems strange, but her name has come up as a possible presidential candidate.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works, though. If you lose in your state, how can you win the country?
Well, that state only has 578,000 people. Yeah, she could get the state, in the state of Wyoming, which I was going to talk about, because think about it. She's the only U.S. representative Wyoming has. Only one representative, but they have 2 senators. So you have a state, let's take the size of Missouri. Missouri's not a huge state, but I think it's a little over, close to 7 million people, over 6 million people. We have just as many senators as Wyoming has. And it's like that. You take some of the smaller states. You take for instance, Washington, D.C. has about 578,000 people. They don't have any representation.
Yeah, that's a tricky situation.
Yeah, it is. But, Wyoming has 2 senators.
If D.C., if they did, then it would change our elections.
Change the landscape.
It would change everything if they could vote in D.C.
And have 2 senators and a representative on Capitol Hill. That's huge. But she lost Wyoming, but I think her thing is trying to get some sensible Republicans, and there are some out there.
Are there?
Yeah.
Which one?
I'm naming them. I'm talking about just people. I'm not talking about elected officials. I'm talking about there's some sensible people. Yes. And she's appealing to them. Because there are Republicans that know that Donald Trump didn't win. And it's just the fact that, he says he won. And I guess the Republicans in Wyoming, because there was no reason to bring someone else in other than the fact that their idol did not get elected and Liz Cheney did not support him. You saw the commercial her father did.
Who? Dick?
Yeah.
I didn't see Dick's commercial.
Oh, yeah. Before the election, he did this campaign basically saying Donald Trump is dangerous for the country, that he lost the election, and we can't go down that road. But not even her father could help her win the primary. Maybe she could have won the general. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, it's too late now.
We'll see if the Republican that won wins the general. It seems like Wyoming may be a conservative state.
Possibly.
But I'm not sure. I don't know much about Wyoming. It's hard to believe that they don't even have 1 million people in the state. I didn't know there was a state like that.
Yeah, come on. South Dakota, North Dakota, they don't, they might not be in the millions either. There's some states under 1 million people. But they still have the same representation in the Senate as California, with, I think they're in the 40 millions. Florida, Texas, same amount of representative. But Liz Cheney, I'm glad she spoke out. She spoke the truth that Donald Trump didn't win the election. And then Mike Pence, here comes Mike Pence. Mike Pence says that he's willing to testify to the January 6th Commission, which you would think, I mean, he should. I mean, because they were trying to kill him.
They were trying to kill him.
Well, yeah, we said, I mean, what they were going to do to him, we don't know.
They were going to kill him.
You think that
Yeah,
they
were
called
gonna
him,
kill him,
that they would have killed him?
They would have killed him. No question in my mind, they would have killed him. Because you can't control a mob. Once the mob's out of control, you can't reason with them. So if they saw him, I'm sure they would have been. I don't think their intention would have been necessarily to kill him, but them grabbing him, pushing him, all those people. I think he would have had a hard time living after that. So
it would have just taken, really, I guess you're right, the mob mentality just would have taken one person to get mad and hit him.
Yeah.
And others would have followed. And yeah, he could have got
So
stomped.
because of that, I would think that he wants to testify and make sure that Donald Trump never gets elected to an office, at least.
In addition to that, he wants to run for president as well. He just spoke somewhere last week, and he said, one, he'd testify at the hearing, but he also warned against, going against the FBI, that was sending the country in a bad direction. So, I mean, I got to give props to Mike Pence for doing that, going against.
He went against them the day of the election.
I know. Well, all he did was tell the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give him too much props just for telling the truth.
Yeah.
Even though, I guess it is kind of hard if most people in your party are against you.
Right. If your tribe is saying that,
maybe it's time to switch tribes.
Yeah, but his beliefs don't line up.
I've been saying it forever. We need more than just two parties.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that for a long time, that the two-party system
is failing us.
Causes a lot of problems. All it does is put two sides against each other, and there's no need to work in the middle. I mean, that's the problem. You have extremes on both sides, not willing to work, and you have a few people in the middle trying to hold down the middle, but it becomes tough. But I'm going to say this. I mean, even though Mike Pence told the truth about the election, and even though he spoke out against putting hits out on the FBI, that was crazy. I don't think he can win his party's primary.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who wins the Republican nomination.
I don't think it'll be him. I don't think Liz Cheney has a shot either. Matt, much respect for thinking about it. Although I don't think anybody
because a lot of people that aren't Democrat or Republican may vote for
those independent. That's true. They might like the fact that she thinks for herself. She didn't go with what everybody in the party said. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, we'll see as we get closer.
Other news that happened in Lancaster, Texas.
Man,
this is crazy.
This is some terrible news.
Lancaster, Texas.
Sure
a longtime coach, Mike Hickman, was killed.
He's a youth football coach.
Killed in a fight. Guy pulled out a gun and killed him over a coaching decision.
Well, I read it's different reports.
Okay.
There's one report that said that they were arguing over the officiating, the score.
Okay.
So, and I guess there's another report that said it was a coaching decision.
What I read said it was a coaching decision, which is crazy. So we're going to come down from the stands. Man, I don't like that call. You need to run this play.
But the person that shot him was the opposing team's coach.
Was it? I see. The article I read didn't say it. Just said that he was the brother of a former NFL player.
Right.
But it didn't say he was the coach.
Yeah, he was the coach on the other team is what one of the articles that I read said. He was a coach on the other team. The coaches were arguing, and this coach, former NFL player's brother, pulls out a gun and kills this longtime youth football coach. A lot of people in the community loved this guy.
Yeah, I did read that.
Respected him.
He was well liked.
Yeah, very, very well liked over a football game.
Why is the coach bringing a gun to the game?
Yeah, that's the country. Well, it's Texas, so everybody in Texas has a gun. I don't know why you would bring it to a youth football game. I don't know if they were fighting and he went to go get the gun or what. But
the article I read said they were fighting and then he pulled out a gun. So, But I mean, either way. But this isn't the only incident.
No, it happens a lot.
I mean, I know some people that ref, and they had to stop reffing youth games simply because parents would come out the stands and get upset. We put too much emphasis on sports, man. I mean, we're a sports. You know, people ask me about idol worship. I mean, we have idols. Not only do we worship celebrities, I mean, we worship sports. Sports is probably the God that the United States trusts in.
Probably. I mean, we love our sports. We love our sports figures. And we just love it to death. And I think a lot of this, a lot of these fights at these youth football games have to do with the parents' unreal expectations.
Yeah, your kid ain't gonna make it. Your kid ain't gonna make it.
You know, a lot of these parents think that their kids are gonna be the next Tony Dorsett. I know that's an old name.
Yeah, Earl Campbell. You're going way back.
Tony Dorsett or whatever, and so they don't understand when their son isn't getting any playing time, or you didn't call a play for my son. My son should be gaining 1,000 yards per game. And when that doesn't happen, some parents are upset.
Ma'am, sir, your son is a terrible player. He's the slowest player on the team. He's not going to be our running back. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're all right. I think a lot of folk and the money that parents are investing in sports. I mean, it's club ball now. So like when we played Little League, we'd have practice once a week and then games on Saturday.
Yeah, well, that's ridiculous now.
Yeah, that's insane. If you do that, I was told when my kids were coming up that your kids won't make the high school basketball team if they're playing that kind of sports. Because these kids, and then when we got Isaac, my second son, when he started playing club ball, they were practicing 3 times a week for 2 hours. And then all day on Saturday and Sunday, they were playing games.
Ridiculous.
And of course he got burnt out. He was tired of it after a while. I mean, this
in high school, he was his junior or sophomore year. He got tired of it.
He stopped playing after his sophomore year. I mean, it's just I'm cheering for him, but I'm like, man, when that schedule came out, and I had to travel way out somewhere, couldn't go home. I'd be like, I'm there for the day. Yeah, all day.
When we were coming up, you like you said, went to practice once a week. You may have gone to some summer camps,
right?
But it wasn't required. I mean, it just wasn't required. The sports wasn't like it is now. It's too consuming for some of these kids. And we played college ball, so I mean, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous the pressure that these kids are put on,
and the injuries that these kids are getting now. Yeah. I mean, they're getting injuries that you didn't normally see. I mean, like Achilles being torn.
Injuries are that's a big injury.
But that's something that once happened when you got into your 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah.
But now these kids, it's just too much.
Can't take that much.
Not designed.
Yeah, I mean.
But I know there'll be some people like, oh no, my kid loves playing basketball, and I love going to see him every day. I know. But that's why our country is getting behind in academics. Engineering, science, we're falling behind because we focus on sports.
And then we go to the game and beat up the ref.
Yeah.
Shoot the other team's coach. I mean, and this dude turned himself in, and he said that he wanted to give his side of the story. Ain't no side of the story, man. There is no reason for you to pull out a gun at a football game and shoot.
Well, I didn't like what was happening, man.
Yeah, there's nothing. He said, his attorney alluded that it was self-defense.
Man, self-defense, how?
I'm just
because the guy was bigger than him or something.
I don't know, but it's out of hand. Those kids are going to have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
I know, to see that.
Yeah, they're going to be scarred for life.
I would think if you're a coach and you have that kind of mentality that you want to fight another coach or something like, you probably shouldn't be coaching Little League. It's a bad example.
Well, a lot of these coaches are probably trying to live out their old glory days
probably.
as well.
You said probably.
I mean,
there are a lot of them
They're trying to live out their glory days.
And parents too.
Yeah,
and that's why they push their kids. Some of these kids don't even. I've talked to some kids and parents, kids who said they don't want to play anymore, but their parents want them to keep playing. I mean, I've seen that. I've experienced that. And I'm like, why are you making this child play something if they don't want to play it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fun.
No. And it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, especially high school. I mean, it's hard work. I mean, it's fun, but it's hard. High school and college sports, I mean, the sacrifice that you had to give, I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, you miss out on a lot.
Yeah, you miss. And I remember in college, college basketball, I missed out on a whole lot of things. You had to be
didn't get to come home for Thanksgiving.
Yes, yeah, that's one of them.
You missed Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I mean, to force somebody to play something,
I had to go back to school early for Christmas after Christmas break,
and go and that summer training. But anyway. I think we really need to reevaluate our priorities in this country. Sports can't be number one.
It can't be.
Sports can't be number one.
It's too much of a worship thing.
Yeah,
and it's almost unbelievable that they worship. I mean, these parents out here fighting.
And the reality, like you said, is your kid's not gonna make it.
No, I mean,
maybe they'll make the high school team. Maybe they'll play in college. But the likelihood of them playing in the NBA or the NFL
is not,
or the major leagues or MSL, Major League Soccer. Come on.
Yeah, I remember when we played Little League, the players that were on our team, how many of those players didn't even make the high school team?
Right. I mean, the bunch of them.
A lot of them.
Most of them don't make the high school team.
Yeah, let's say that.
Most don't even make the high school team.
Most of them do not play in high school. So you got to ease up, maybe push your kids to read a book.
Read a book. Learn, man.
Learn something. Because sports ain't everything, and people dying over sports, people killing over sports is out of hand. And there should be a severe penalty if you fight at a youth sports game. It should be. I mean, the crime, the penalty should be higher.
I think that's what states are going to have to do. I mean, that's really going to stop. If you really want to stop it, you really do have to make the penalty for fighting around kids. Let's just say fighting around kids. I mean, the punishment has to be severe.
Yeah, no question about that. I mean, the penalty, you got to do some time in jail. You start to fight around kids. I mean, if you're defending yourself, that's one thing, but going to fight over a game of a score, I mean, I pray for that family, that man's family, his players.
You remember a few years ago, it might have been like last year, there was this ref who made a call, and the entire team went out and started fighting.
It was football?
It's basketball. And he's trying to get out of the gym.
Yeah, I think fighting, I do remember this.
And they're one after the other. And then some parents come and over a call. I mean, that's, there is idolatry in the United States.
No question about it.
And sports is probably the Zeus of gods.
Sports is the number one worship. I mean, I think people worship athletes more than they do musicians, actors, because you can only be an athlete for a limited amount of time. Only a limited amount of time. So I mean, it's the best of the best.
And in all reality, probably everyone wanted to be a professional athlete.
Yes,
at one point in life. Yes.
Yes.
So I get it.
I would say that at one point in life, every single human being just about has wanted to be a professional athlete. So that's the reason why we worship athletes so much and want to push our kids to be the next LeBron James.
Speaking of LeBron James.
Good segue.
He just got a 2-year, $97.1 million deal with the Lakers. 2 years, $97.1 million, which would bring his career earnings to $523 million, making him the highest paid NBA player ever.
Well, wouldn't that make him the highest paid athlete ever, or are there some soccer players?
Yeah, no, those soccer players. Come on. Yeah. Because, soccer is the biggest sport. It's just not the biggest here. So, no, it wouldn't make him the highest paid
So $97 million per year is an incredible amount of money. I remember when Michael Jordan, when he first came on, he signed that bad contract, and for years he wasn't the highest paid on the court. Out on the commercials, of course, he surpassed everybody. Yeah. But it was that last contract. I think it was like 1 year he got paid $30 million per year.
I don't remember what
I think it was something like that, and that was a big deal. I thought that was a big deal because at that point, no player had made that much money in a year. $30 million in 1 year. I believe that was the price tag.
Yeah, 97 is a lot of money, but 523 million. Now, remember Patrick Mahomes signed to that contract deal that was almost $500 million.
Yeah.
So, he has the potential to make more than that over the course of his career.
As long as he stays healthy, he will definitely surpass LeBron James as the highest paid athlete.
Yeah, I don't know where LeBron ranks with baseball or football, American football. But NBA, he's the highest paid ever.
Nobody in the NFL makes $97 million per year. I don't think.
I don't know if it's 2 year 97. Is that? I think
2 years for 97. Okay,
yeah.
That's still a lot of money.
Patrick Mahomes, his contract is, I don't know. I forgot how many years. Was it 7? I don't know. But
they're not paying. It's not 100.
I don't know.
7 years.
It's a whole lot. Of course, when that happened, I heard people talking about, does he deserve it? Does he deserve to be the highest paid?
I forgot people hate LeBron James.
You can't forget that a lot of people do not like him. But here's the thing. He will be 38 years old in December. Now, last season, he averaged 30 points a game at the age of 37. You talking about somebody who takes care of his body.
Yeah, he spends $1 million. Him and Tom Brady, they take care of their bodies. That's why they play at such a high level at their age.
Think about that, playing basketball, and he's not down low. He's running the court at his age, still putting up 30 a game.
Yeah, I'm going to say that I don't know who deserves what. You deserve whatever you got. But, yeah, I don't know why people would be mad about that. I would think that they would be happy, especially since how LeBron James does it. For those that don't know, LeBron James' childhood friends are his business partners.
He hooked him up.
He didn't hire some big-time sports agent or some big-time sports lawyer or anything. He's helped his friends go through school, and then they formed a business. He formed a business with his friends. So his friends are his agents, his attorney, his everything. So I don't see how anybody could hate on that.
Not only that, but in some folk, yes, they will hire the big time attorneys and all of that. But then some folk will just give their friends money.
Yes,
and which is not good either.
And that is why 70% of athletes go broke once their final year is played.
But so he didn't just give them money. He made sure they were equipped, and so you can't beat that. And just plus all the other charitable things he does. He does a lot. The Shut Up and Dribble documentary series. Did you see that?
No, I just watched.
You need to watch that.
The Brooklyn point guards, though.
NYC
New York,
point guards.
New York
yeah,
point
that's pretty
guards.
good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now, LeBron James, you remember old girl from Fox said, "Shut up and dribble," and he did this series. You need to watch it.
It's a documentary series.
Yes, absolutely, watch it. You need it. It's a must watch.
What channel?
I don't think it's on any channel now. It came out 2-3 years ago. So you just have to find it. Might be on Netflix. Try. I don't know, but I would say congratulations. Now I heard that at the end of this contract that he's on, that his oldest son will be eligible for the NBA draft.
And so he wants to try to play with him
for
1 season.
I could see that happen. That would be historic.
Yeah.
And I could see teams wanting to do it. Regardless.
Sell out the arena.
Yeah. Because we've never seen that, a father and son on the court together.
And his son is good. I just saw some video where his son took it coast to coast and did some incredible dunk, and then Skip Bayless, one of those haters,
Man, what did he
going
say?
off on him. He was saying, he hates LeBron James.
Yes.
Skip.
Yes.
So he went. His son Bronny did this incredible dunk, and then Skip tweets, "Well, your father would have dunked it left-handed." Well, you diss his father every chance you get. Now you want to talk about, his father would have dunked better. Well, yeah, of course he would have dunked it better. His father is one of the greatest athletes that ever walked the planet.
Yeah, you talking about pure athletes. LeBron, I can't. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a better athlete. Not too many.
Not an athlete.
Not athlete.
You can say Michael Jordan is a better basketball player, but he's not a better athlete.
No, that dude is a pure athlete. But doesn't it seem like a lot of these sports anchors, pundits seem to be haters?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Steven Smith and Skip Bayless. They just hate on these.
Yeah, that's two of them.
Yeah, that's
but
two.
There are more.
Yeah,
I'm just like, why? Okay, why are you covering? They cover sports so they can talk about how much they hate these people.
Yeah,
that's all I can think of. I don't understand that.
Yeah, you go back to the hate that Allen Iverson
and
Stephon Marbury got.
Of course, because they did not conform.
No,
they did not conform. Anyway. So that's good news. In other news, we've all heard about Serena Williams retiring from tennis. What is she, 40? Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
I think she's.
And usually tennis, if you're lucky, if you're in your mid-20s.
Usually.
If you're in your mid-20s and you can still compete, that's considered good. So to be able for her to compete in her 30s, win titles in her 30s is nothing less than amazing.
And still be ranked at 40.
Yeah.
So we thought that in recognition of Serena Williams, we would do the top 5 female athletes of all time.
The greatest athletes of all time, top 5. This is a tough list.
It was very tough.
Because I have a lot of honorable mentions. But
I do too, but is it me? I'm up first.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say not only, I ranked them not just what they did in their sport, but I looked at actual athleticism. People that could probably play multiple sports. So I'm looking, when I'm talking about athleticism, I'm talking about speed, quickness, agility, strength, all of that. So that played a factor in how I ranked them. So at number 5, a name that a lot of people may not be familiar with, but I watched swimming in the Olympics, Jenny Thompson. She is the most decorated female Olympian there is. She's won 12 medals, 8 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze, a swimmer. Jenny Thompson. So I have her at number 5. Again, it was a tough thing. And swimming's a tough sport. But in terms of athleticism, which is why she's probably at number 5, it doesn't require a whole lot. I don't know. I don't want to diss swimmers because I know it's a very tough thing.
Yeah, it is.
Number 4, I have Cheryl Swoops.
Cheryl
4
Swoops.
NBA titles. She... though that Houston team in the early days of the WNBA, they dominated.
Her and Cynthia Cooper.
And Cheryl Swoop. There was one other. There were 3 of them, but 4 NBA titles, 3 MVPs, and she was really unstoppable. She was a pretty tough player. Mm-hmm. So I have her at number 4. Number 3, I have the most decorated female track and field athlete, Allison Felix. Mm-hmm. And she has 11 Olympic medals, 7 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze. And she just competed in the last Olympics, did a whole lot. Just thinking, and she's a speed runner. And she ran late into her 30s. But still being able to compete in speed, because speed is one of the first things, to go.
When you're an athlete, it's not one of the first things that go.
Yeah, right.
It is the first thing that goes.
But so I'm just imagining the training that it must have required for her to go back to the Olympics. So I have Allison Felix, number 3. Number 2 and number 1, Could go back and forth. But so I'm not going to put any order on this, on 2 and 1. But I have Simone Biles, gymnast, as you all know. She won 32 Olympic and world medals. Let that sink in. The most decorated gymnast ever. And gymnastics does require a lot of athleticism.
Yes.
32 Olympic and world medals. That's insane. So I have her 1 or 2 in my top 2. And then the last, of course, since we talked about Serena Williams, I have her. Serena Williams won 23 Grand Slams. Now, the person with the most Grand Slams females is Margaret Court. However, Margaret Court won most of her titles before the open era. And so if you don't know what the open era in tennis is, that means before the open era, only amateurs competed in Grand Slam events. The professionals, you didn't make money. So the professionals a lot of them would not compete in those because you didn't get paid. So although Margaret Court has 24 titles, most of her titles came in the amateur before the open era. Serena Williams, on the other hand, all of her Grand Slams, all of her 23 Grand Slams were against other professionals, the best in the world. She has 4 Olympic gold medals, 14 double Grand Slams with her and her sister.
They're the greatest doubles team.
Absolutely. No question. So that's who I have. Serena Williams, Simone Biles, Allison Felix, Cheryl Swoops, Jenny Thompson, and I'll name honorable mention after you give yours.
Okay, so my number 5, I'm going with Florence Griffith Joyner.
Okay.
So she was a track and field athlete, I believe, from St. Louis, Missouri. Track and field athlete, ran the sprints. I'm not sure how many gold medals she won or anything like that, but in the 80s, she was dominant in her field, and she had the colorful fingernails, and she kind of was the first one that I remember seeing track athletes who had the colorful look.
Yeah.
You know, now you see every female athletes,
all of them.
They add some little colorful, their hair or their nails. She was kind of the first one to do that.
She was from Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
It was Jackie Joyner, not her sister-in-law.
Yeah, okay. So number 4, I have Venus Williams.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people talk about Serena, obviously, and for reason, but Venus, as everyone knows, was an incredible athlete herself.
Absolutely.
And would have won more Grand Slams.
That's true.
Titles if it were not for her sister.
Her sister knocked her off a few times.
Yes, more than a few. So she would probably, if it weren't for her sister, she might be considered the greatest tennis player of all time.
Yeah, sometimes people come along and they come along with, alongside the greatest.
Yes.
I mean, I see that in fighting, where they could have been the best of their era, but.
Yeah, and so Serena had to end up being the second best in her era because of her sister. But she still makes my top 5 greatest women's athletes. So number 3, I have Jackie Joyner Kersey.
All right.
So she is from St. Louis, the sister-in-law of Florence Griffith Joyner. Jackie Joyner Kersey ran the heptathlon. I think I pronounced that right. And she did the long jump. I think she won.
I want to say she won 6 medals.
Yeah, I was trying to think how many gold. But she won, I think 3 gold. But she was a phenomenal athlete.
Absolutely.
So I put her at my number 3. Jackie Joyner Kersey. Number 2, I'm going to have to put Simone Biles. You know, you can't. There's just nothing you can say about her. Her accomplishments speak for herself.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's hard to say anything negative about her. I know people said, talked a little negative when she couldn't compete in the Olympics because of I forgot what they called that. But yeah, she couldn't compete. But if she retires today, she's still the greatest ever in gymnastics. gymnastics, and it's going to be hard for anyone to ever break her records.
Yeah, when you think about her and you think about other sports, there's debate on who's the best. In gymnastics, there's no debate.
There is no debate.
They don't debate that.
Well, I don't think there's a debate in my number one pick.
Probably not.
Venus Williams.
Serena.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Serena Williams. I would say is the greatest female athlete of all time. She's the greatest tennis player of all time. No question in my mind, she's number one. The mental toughness that it takes, she had all of that. She just had that desire to win, Michael Jordan-ish, in her desire to win. So that's my top five. Number one, Serena Williams. Number two, Simone Biles. Number three, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Number four, who did I say?
Didn't you say? I don't remember who you said.
Florence Griffith Joyner and
Flojo.
Yeah.
And Jackie Joyner-Kersee won 3 gold medals. Yeah. So, this was a tough list. So I have honorable mention just to mention a few.
Wilma Rudolph.
I have Wilma Rudolph in mind just because of the pressure. You talking about pressure?
Yeah. She won 3 gold medals.
I have Jackie Joyner-Kersee in mind, Wilma Rudolph, Lisa Leslie in the WNBA, but I also have Diana Taurasi, WNBA player.
Yeah. I would I'm gonna add Althea Gibson.
Yep.
In there. We said Lisa Leslie. There's somebody else. I'm gonna go ahead and give Cheryl Miller.
Oh yeah,
she never got to play in the NBA. Yeah. There was no WNBA when she was around.
Give her props.
But yeah, you had to give it to her. Allison Felix. I didn't mention her, but I would definitely put her as one of the greatest female athletes of all time. A lot of different athletes, a lot of great athletes.
Yeah, it's a really tough list to do. Some people would have Mia Hamm.
Yeah,
soccer.
I meant to say Mia Hamm for soccer. I actually got to film her when they did the women's play the U.S. Soccer game at Arrowhead. I was working at Metro Sports, so I got to film that game. But yeah, Mia Hamm is definitely on there. I'm sure there's a lot more.
Yeah, it's a tough list. Really got to do. With something like that, you got to do the top 50. It's hard to do just 5.
Yeah, there's a lot of great athletes that were left off.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you all are thinking of some. Let us know who we may have left off, and we didn't do it on purpose. Just it is a hard list to make. Of course, you could throw some, female boxers in.
Oh yeah, Sharice Shields, Clarissa
Shields. 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and then of course Layla Ali.
Yeah.
We can go on and on about who could be on
Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. Yeah, you had to put her. Amanda Nunes.
Yeah. Cyborg.
Chris Cyborg. Yeah, it goes on. So let us know what you think. What female athletes do you think deserve mention as being among the greatest of all time? Check us out each week. Tuesday, we drop a new episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with the Cleavers, or check us out most places you get your podcast.
See you next week.
Peace out.
Peace.
I come, that's where I'm from. I say I'm going.